update you as usual wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation, the Spaceship Institute. We are back in the same position, trying to understand the work of the creation and the creator. And once you understand this, you will start realizing how beautiful the creation is. And in a way, um, if you're a cook, you have the same ingredient, but you mix it different way and you make different taste, different texture, different colors out of the same thing. They put you in a cooking session, everything on the table, and they give the same ingredient to 10 chefs, and each chef comes up with different recipe from the same base material on the table. This is how the world of creation is. But fortunately, we have one cook. It's called the creator, call it God or whatever. And then the rest of it is conditions which are given that creates different recipes within the same environment of the same kitchen. We call it the universe. So in a way, we have one master chef and many tables and ovens and cutting mixture, but the same ingredient. And depends where this chef goes, on which table, will decides what to do, instead of having 10 different chefs on the different tables. So the ingredient of the cooking is exactly the same. Same flour, the same milk, the same sugar, the same other things. And we see how the master makes bread with one, cake with the other one, croissant with the same thing with the other one, oven, and the rest of it. So the world of creation is the same. We have the creator, different conditions in the universe creates different products, different end, and they're all delicious to eat. If it's a human, you enjoy the life of a human. If you're a Martian, you enjoy the life of a Martian. It's just the taste of the one who test and taste the food on that table. But in essence, the creation, the essence of the created is all the same. How you twist it, what kind of door will come and what will give you at the end. The life of cycle of fields of the creator is all the same. And how they entangle, how the measurements are, and how what strength they have give us different opportunities, different chances. Physical life, like a planetary system, physical life like a star, which still has its own life. And then no manifestation of physicality, which man will learn very soon, but still life. In open space gaps between the stars and galaxies, you see, is not empty. It's full of life. But different recipes used to keep it together, to, in a way, exist. We only look at the life in a dimension of physicality. We call it the galaxy, and we see some bunch of them together. But as much as we see, the gaps have their own lives. They are even bigger in a structure than the galaxies. But we don't have the visualization of seeing it. In a way, we look at the body inside and we see the cancer cells. We call it galaxies. There is a still lymph, there is still a structure which we don't see because we only see which is solidified and it's there. We call it a cancer cell. So if you look at it that way, the universes and the galaxies and the planetary system are where the energy has managed to manifest itself in the man-visual dimension. Not everybody sees what we see. Many planetary and star systems, which is visual to man, is invisible to the others because the bandwidth of the string is not there. But in essence, everything is the beginning the same. Once we understand this, we go back to the teaching of last week, which we refer to neutron as to be the fundamental element that is mentioned in the books. But this fundamental element, this fundamental plasma, only can manifest itself to be there if there is an environment which can compare in the strength to. And the field strength of dictates. In the world of physics today, we talk about heating and expansion or creating pressure and vacuum, but we have actually no scientist, no research has been done that does actually the size of the neutron, the size of proton, or the size of electron changes in this heat and compression. There is a research done by Russian scientists. The West is trying to keep it very, very quiet because it's like Keshe Foundation will bring huge changes. And in the very recent past couple of years, when one of the world leaders wanted to compete in the election and he had no funds, they used this technology to fund the campaign and he won the election. Russians have come up with an amazing system that they mix materials together in a specific way and it produces about 16% of gold. And they use compression. They use a specific way of mixing, hardly any chemicals used, but when you mix certain materials, it gives you 16% gold residual. And this gold was used to, in a way, finance one of the biggest elections in past years. But in that technology, we always look at what pressure we create to what to give. I was supervisor, I was advisor to this confirmation of this technology with all the scientific data in front of me, and explained to the officials that the gold here is created out of the pressure of what happens in the earth condition if we do. And it is why we get only 16% maximum. And comparing it to the plasma technology, we create materials, but out of interaction of the fields. In the matter state, we compress materials together. In the plasma technology, we never measured the size of a neutron. Intelligence research up to now has not confirmed the exact change of the size of the neutron on the vacuum condition, on the heat condition, or on the compression, or on any other. In a way, we cannot change it with the physical matter. But if you understand the plasma technology, there is a way to expand the size of neutron. There is a way to expand the size of proton. There is a way to expand the size of electron. In the world of physics, to say today, we say the size of electron is 2,000 times or whatever of the, what do you call it, smaller than the neutron or proton or whatever. This is all physics things we see and assumption we make. But we have never scientifically measured the size of neutron or proton or electron on the matter state condition. Theoretically, the expansion in the matter state is the gap between the atoms. This is how you make molecules, how you add copper and zinc and whatever, you make what do you call it, composition of brass and everything else. In the world of plasma technology, we can only change the size, the amount of fields in a in a condition, because it's not objects anymore, of a plasma condition like neutron, by specific methods, by specific ways. And this is the secret of the transmutation and transportation. What does this mean? It means in a mechanical system, to get one thing towed by something else, we use a rope. We pull it with the hand. We want to compress it, we use pressure and compress it. In the world of plasma, we can't do this. Compression has no effect, more or less, very, very slight. And there's no way we can physically tag a rope around the neutron and pull it. But we can pull neutron using understanding the work of magnetic fields, because its rope is its field strength. Its rope is the field it gives out, and how we can tag into it. This is why when you put two magnets together, one magnet moves or gets attracted. You don't physically push the magnet away. If physically, the field interaction, strength of the field, dictates position. This is what we call magnet positioning. Then, going back to understanding this process, we understand, or you should have understood as knowledge seekers, a secret similarity in all conditions of the teaching of the Keshe Foundation and the matter state of today, and observation of the scientific way to exist in confirmation of physicality. If you take one part out, the other part cannot function. In the world of physics today, we say hydrogen is a proton and electron, but in fact is a neutron. We look at it in two halves, but we don't look at it as a total. And what we see as a hydrogen and a structure of the proton and electron is exactly what's happening inside the neutron. Inside the neutron, we have another field inside it, exactly what we see as hydrogen. This is why hydrogen is so important in the structure of understanding the world of physics in the matter state and the plasma state. If you look at it in a very simple way, what we see in the world of creation as a plasma hydrogen structure is very simple. And that is, when we understand this, the world of science, the space of technology and physics makes a lot of sense. We call it hydrogen and proton and electron. But in fact, this hydrogen itself has a different characteristics in a way, is a fundamental plasma, because that's what we see as an atom of hydrogen. Is a, in a way, if you look at it, if you understand it in a scientific way, doesn't have a physical boundary the way we are used to, but it has, in a way, a imaginary boundary, which we see, assume to be the atom of hydrogen. This is when In a matter state, when the soul of the man passes the dimension of physicality, where the actual physicality sits between the soul of the object and the physicality of the object. Depends which one you look at. The confusion in the world of science today is that we have not identified scientifically the separation or the difference between, in a way, an atom and the plasma of an atom. If you look at an atom, it's a matter state with the physicality outside. In a condition of the energy state is the soul with the physicality inside. In a way, in this dimension, we see the created and in this we see the creation. And this is what, in real world, we have not understood the separation between the two. And this is why the plasma technology, Keshe Foundation, is out of line with the present science. Because we have only been taught about the physical condition. All rules of physics is written, dictated, drilled in our head on the matter state. We have never considered the plasma state, energy state. And this is why I have always said fusion in the matter state is a dream which never come true. And now we see Chinese have done 1,000 seconds of so many times higher temperature than the center of the sun and the rest of it, and to produce atom of whatever, hydrogen, tritium, deuterium, whatever they call it. And now that we understand the same process, Keshe Foundation does it in a room temperature, everything else, because we have learned how to convert and how to transmute from one to the other. This is your ganses and this is your copper. This is why our technology looks so absurd, because it looks funny when you stand in front of a magician and he has a bowl in the cup and he holds with a finger the bottle. 1 second you see the cup, 1 second you see the bowl. We have not been taught the magic of energy, plasmatic field in motion. And at the moment, as I've said many times, MT Keshe, Keshe Foundation, you knowledge seekers are exactly not even a centimeter out than the first guy when he said the earth is not the center of the universe. They hung him in the church, in the house of God. And
hello, Mr. Keshe? The sound cut out there.
yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you said the house of God, and then the sound cut out at that moment.
Yeah, they hung him in the house of God. For what reason? Because he told the truth. Because he understood beyond what the man was forced to accept. And we are in the same position with the Keshe Foundation. We know more in the knowledge of creation other than the matter state. We have become aware of the energy field, and they crucify us, kings kill us, they put us in mental institutes, families detach themselves from us because we are now at a moment where this science of understanding the world of energy, which leads to the creation of the matter state, we are crucified. The time will come that when man understand the process of the energy transfer, transmutation, and what we teach as a Ganses and the energy side of the world of creation, then the whole thing will change. Then we understand what, how the world of creation is, and collectively we go. And that position of the change has come. 2025 is the year where the knowledge of the energy, use of the energy, we call it the plasma, will come to be understood is as correct as the matter state we have considered. Till now, we speak about gases, which is a plasma. We speak about the transfer of energy to magnetic field, which is a plasma. And in that process, those who are matter state are still sacrificing. Nothing has changed than 2,000 years ago and time of when they use sacrifice the virgins for this and that. Where in the world of energy, there are no sacrifices because it's the creator of, we have control of. In a promotion video, which is getting done and will hopefully be completed in the next couple of years, a couple of weeks, you will see how we bring this knowledge for man to understand. How we will structure the position that man for the first time understands that the Keshe Foundation, the knowledge of plasma, is the knowledge of creation, and the biggest opposition to the Keshe Foundation and the work of us comes from those who are religious and those who want a financial profit. And the other group is the scientists who are in the matter state and they cannot switch to understand the energy state. But the foolish thing is, we burn the wood to get the energy. We haven't managed to get energy to make wood. And this is what completes the cycle of the knowledge. In Keshe Foundation, you go from matter to energy and from energy to matter. So, if you understand this, which I'm sure 99% of the knowledge seekers understood by now, is where is the similarities? Where does things fit into? And what is our position? The beauty of the knowledge is in its simplicity. We go back to the fundamental elements. You have a neutron. You have a proton, and then you have an electron. In the body of the man, we have the soul of the man. You have the soul of physicality of the man, and you have the physicality of the man. In the world of physicality of the man, you have in every structure within the physicality of the man, even in the tissue of the planet, plants, even in the tissue of the stones, you find the same principle. You have the inner layer, you have the middle layer, and you have the outer layer. So the world of creation is exactly the same, but man has not understood. This is the world of energy, this is the world of plasma, in a half physical, half materialistic, and this is the matter state detection. But in essence, everything works because they are all interaction of the fields, magnetic fields. You are getting crucified because the world of science and religion has blocked you, blocked the people around you, and the rest of the world to understand this. And they're abusing it in the name of religion. In abusing it, we understand more. And those who became peer reviewers stole everything and find out how they can make it to show they are look good. Now, there is no difference between religious leaders and those who steal patterns, because the people haven't seen it, they are the ones who've seen it, like Einstein, like Stephen Hawking, and Pope. There is no difference between them in thieves of Baghdad. Now you understand, as a knowledge seekers, you understand this part of world of creation, which is being kept away, Holy Spirit, punishment, and the rest of it. And this is where the man lives. And where at the moment the science of man is playing with. They have not crossed over to understand the full structure. Once you understand this, then the next step to the whole thing, if you are now in that matter state of understanding, was given to you as a maglev system. Without you knowing how you go back to where it came back to. And then through this, in a way, you go back to again that neutron, proton, and electron, or the plasma condition. There is no dimension of physicality. And the biggest problem is we, as knowledge seekers, as a scientist of the space, have a problem with this group, which is our doctors, our engineers, our professors, and the rest of it, because they are engineers and professors in matter state. This is too far for their intelligence to understand. Then you understand why I've been telling you maglev systems we gave you is not for energy, it's for you to understand the power of the field. There is nothing in the world of creation which is any different than what is on this board. We showed you in a very simple system through the structure of the soul of the man. If you were with us in past few weeks and months, when the energy came from the space, you saw 3 layers in the soul of the man and the feet. Again, if you put it in a bigger structure and go back to understanding it, we saw the fields coming in, we saw the top layer, we saw the conversion between the two, and we saw the bottom layer, where this went to the soul of the man, to the dimension of physicality. Now you understand what and how intelligent you are as knowledge seekers. You understand, or you've been taught, is for you to go and understand the whole, literally, the whole process of the creation. You can go this way, you can go that way, you understand the knowledge of this way and how to come back. And for this, you're getting crucified because you understand the process of the creation from the creator to man and from man to the energy back to creator. And this is what in 2025, with the structures in our hand, will bring out. And one of the biggest gifts given to man today to change this world of the matter state is called President Trump of United States. You will understand soon why and how we will utilize this opportunity to bring the knowledge of the man to understand the totality. Where energies create the matter, and for cycling back, we go back to energy. We call this world of the plasma of physics of today, we call this the knowledge of transmutation, where man only at this moment of time can transport. He has not managed to understand the vertical side has a horizontal side on the other side. The foundation of the knowledge is set out in the 3 books. The ignorance of the man looks for confirmation in physicality. And this is why we put the sessions on Fridays a month, for you to see the confirmation in the energy side, which is your emotion, which is your thoughts. This is what we call transmutation dimension of the energy. And this is why whatever we put out looks like magic, but in a way, we understand the simple process. And as a chef, I have taught you everything with the same recipe on the table, how to cook. You are the chefs at the table. Ingredient is the same. All of you use copper, all of you use zinc, all of you use salts, and all of you make gases, and all of you now need to understand more that you don't need to transfer energy into the matter energy. You can use the energy in the field energy. And then when we tell you, you go on a trip while you're on the line with us, you go to the moon and the Mars, and then he says, I dreamt about it. No, darling, you didn't dream. You witnessed the trip of your soul. Ignorance is a bliss. And when this bliss is there, you cannot do anything with it, because then the magicians use it. And the best technology, best thing has ever happened to man, to the man of matter, is show me. How do you want me to show you your emotion? How do you want me to show you your dream when you actually had the trip? This is the way ignorant, uneducated people, even in the level of professors, in the matter state, have covered themselves. Show me. If I make you to trip, if I make you to have an accident, if I make you to see your grandmother, doesn't count, because I don't see it. This is accident. This is what happened. This is, I do it in the sleep. And When we travel into space, majority of the time, with a man of space, we deal with those who are in this level of understanding. This is the universal community, and this is the man's community. Until we don't get man to understand, then the two cannot merge. And this is the job of the Keshe Foundation in 2025 to bring that merger. We use the rules and the laws of the nations to bring this into action. You will understand. You soon will understand. The biggest gift for the technology to be transferred to everyone is literally, if you understand, is given to man. Would you like to understand the energy, or would you like to suffer in a matter state? Would you like to be locked up in the planet Earth with a passport? You can't go anywhere. Wherever you go, you're a foreigner, you're an immigrant. Don't forget, there are two different words for immigrants. If you're a white or a black. If you're Asian, white, Middle Eastern, you're an immigrant when you go to a country. If you're white only, you become expat. Otherwise, white immigrant. When you enter a border, passport control, if you're black or other color, you are a terrorist. If you're white, you're a freedom fighter. Depends on the color of your skin and the paper you carry. We don't have this in space. And this is where man will learn outside to come back and implement it inside. Man has to be shown the vastness and the beauty of the universe for him to understand his ignorance and prejudices on this planet. September, October of this year. Now you understand how you as knowledge seekers understand more about the other side, and the professors in matter side, they can't accept you. Your families can't accept you because they see the matter state. You have become aware of the energy state. You see the benefit of it. We gave you the pain pen, we gave you the magraphs, and I kept on telling you, you plugged it in. I'm looking for the energy. Bless his soul, John says, when these people want to understand, they never stood on a correctly winded magraph to feel its energy. If you understand this, if you understood this process, half of your problem in standing resolute in your understanding is the same. It's your job to explain. Then the work of the Keshe Foundation doesn't become magic and what do you call it, the guru or whatever, and it's a haji-baji. Yes, it is, because the ignorance is a bliss. As long as you do that, you don't need to learn anew. I always remember the word of the Chancellor of Sharif Tehran University. And a first launch in Iran presidential offices in 2008, 9th of June of 2008, when President Ahmadinejad gave a lunch for me returning to Iran, but I wasn't aware that there was a different plan. There were 5 heads of universities sitting there to approve the technology or not. The last vote was with the hand of the Tehran Sharif University chancellor. And he said, Mehranjan, you have discovered gravity. But if I say yes to this, I have to stay and see your technology through the Sharif University. And I'm retiring in a few months' time. I stay in the middle. You already have 4 votes, go ahead. This is the problem. Scientists understand, but if they accept, they have to bring the change. And this is where your knowledge seekers have been put in mental institute. You've been deprived of love of the family. You've been fighting to show something can be done because you always try to show what it does in the matter state and you haven't learned the process of conversion. And when we show it to you, for you it's difficult to understand, to be able to translate the language. This simple picture on the table, learn it, and it's the key to your understanding, to be able to enlighten the people. Where, in fact, if you look at it, very simple for you lot is this: tell them this is where all the scientists are. This is where the plasma and nuclear power is. We are one step even beyond that. Because if it's on CNN, we accept it. And soon there'll be no CNN in the deep space on the moon. Would you like to tune to the rubbish talk? Or would you like to look at the beauty of the creation? And in so many ways, it's for you to understand about yourself. Energies within yourself, how you transfer from one to another, and then what you call transmutation sits directly inside you, within the structure where you receive the energy of the universe, you balance it with the energy of the planetary system. Through the soul of physicality, you create the body of the man. And this is what you have to learn how to go back. In this direction, you become to matter state and transportation. In this direction, you are in a way to the transmutation and plasma state, fields of universe. I made man in the image of myself. I manifest myself when I need, and I live in the realm of the energy to create what I like, depending where I am the chef of. Now you understand exactly how you knowledge seekers have been snookered by the ignorant people. The only difference is, using the advancement into communication, you have learned the basics of the transmutation and transportation and conversion from energy to matter and matter to energy. And you have done it in a way that you're ignorant to it. You have become ignorant to it, where you put the metal and you get bits at the bottom and you call it ganses, when it's actually is a plasma energy, and you are working in this region. You have leapfrogged, frog-leaped, whatever you like it, across the science of creation in a very simple way by universal teacher. Because we know how to teach nursery people. We know how to teach write A. We know how to make the first sentence. We know how to teach you to spell the first word and then become graduate. My biggest fear, always said, and it makes people around me literally laugh, is we have a very big problem which pops its head out in a very near future. And I'll tell you why, and you understand it. We have, in the past centuries and thousands of years, we have made professors, doctors, priests, ignorant in the matter state. Your biggest problem as humans just starts. Because once the new generation learns about the plasma or energy in motion, then you're going to have the same professors, doctors, priests changing their tune from the matter state. Now we understand how the Christ went and the rest of it, and the ignorant. We have a beautiful say in Farsi, we say "Khar biyara baghali bar kun," which means now bring the donkey and load it up that these people accept this lot and this lot accept this lot. This is where your problem sits. And in a way, you knowledge seekers, most of you who understood, have made the answers, sit somewhere here. And you have understood this. You have bridged the gap in a small way. And that's why you're in a big problem. But your problem starts when in a few years' time, we get universities of man creating PhD and everything for the energy state, what we call the plasma, what we call the Ganser state. Now, we had the war of borders. We had the war of religions. Now becomes the war of scientists. Trying to show which one is correct, which one is real, and both of them don't understand when this reduces in the field of strength in the matter state according to inertia become matter, and then when it goes to plasma inertia become plasma. In reality, what we'll see in the time of coming time is, in a very simple way, which we all understand, we see in a different way the world of Tesla, and we see the world of Edison. And we saw how Edison brought an elephant, created the electrical chair to show Tesla was wrong or was right, but it was dangerous. And that's what we saw with Tesla, with Edison doing to Tesla. We will see coming from the religious leaders in respect to the knowledge of the Keshe. You have not seen the resistance yet. We had the resistance from the ignorant scientists, from the kings who want to have it. You have not seen the resistance coming from the religious people when they say this is criminal. Knowledge of God is not for us to understand, because then we can't be prophets. We cannot be all the religious names we created for ourselves. You thought you got persecuted by your family and the friends and people around you because of this knowledge? You wait when the man of science stand the man of abuses in the name of religion. And that's to come in 2025. In the back end of 2025. And the 26th will be a battlefield between the new knowledge and the matter state knowledge and those who lose their position in the world of religion. As the famous says, you see nothing yet. You are getting problem with the family and the friends calling you, you become a sect or whatever. I, as the Mehran Tawakkuli Keshe, had to fight the kings and governments. The king plans to kill, and his proxies, like Red Circle, create everything to discredit and everything else for them, for you not to have. You have not seen what the religions will do to this technology. Because through this, you find work of the energy which gives you the understanding of the world of creation and the creator. And if you understand that, do you need an intermediary? We are no gurus. We are people who understand the science of creation and teaches it freely. Never a knowledge has been taught so freely for so long by one man in voice and writing. And now those of you who go even to the other level of understanding, you tap to my soul and you get the information and the knowledge. You don't need the voice and you don't need the matter. Isn't this what you do when you pray to your creator? Or are you still in the process of making statues and hang it around your neck? It's you who has put yourself around your neck, your own noose of ignorance, and not the knowledge. We can produce as much gold as we like to bankrupt the world banks. There is an old knowledge which, if you lived in Ghana, you know it. And if you were really with the people at the point of power in Ghana, you know it. When you go into Central Bank of England, not the monarchy, but the Central Bank of England, there is so many hundreds of thousands of bars of gold. And 2/3 of it is stolen from Ghanaian gold reserve when the British invaded Ghana. We can make more gold than is in reserve of any bank, any nation on this planet. And we have shown it. And it's been tested by Chinese military, confirming it. Our General of China, after we did the test in 2023 in the mountains north of China, on our gold mine, they tried to dodge and dive that we didn't see any gold. I took scientific papers into a meeting. There were about 20, 15 of Chinese and the representative of the Prime Minister of China, representative of the Chinese military and the rest. And I said to them on the whiteboard, I said, you see these materials which you have given on the report? I give you a research paper, 10, 20 research papers, which says to you, wherever you see this material, it means there's gold and silver. You, as a Chinese government officials, as the generals in the Chinese military, which you control the test, tell me, where have you hidden the data for gold? You're stealing. You're thieving. And they got offended. You can tell anything to a Chinese, but tell him he's a thief. It's the most humiliating, degrading thing you can do to a Chinese man. To humiliate him, to bring him lower. A few days later, I was called into a meeting in central Beijing. huge building. Wang Ning was with me. She's always used to be the translator. We don't know how much she translated correctly, whatever. The top ranking general came, who we know, and two other generals, which monitored, came and sat on the same table. But they sat on the side and the other side. Nobody sat on the top. A gentleman who was the head of Chinese military committee sat on the top. We found out later on. And the general turned around and said, Mr. Keshe, you have found out how to transfer energy into gold. In a different way, you have changed materials into materials, energies to materials. And we accept that we hidden the knowledge. Now we confirm you are correct. It took an insult to a government to come out with the truth on the table of discussion. And because of the humiliation, there was no trust. Everything stopped. Because admitting to stealing, admitting to hiding, does not leave any much room to trust. The beauty of what we did in China is that we kept a video of these generals. And they always covered their face that they cannot be seen, but accidentally their own team sent us a video with all their pictures on it. They didn't know at the end of the picture, you see the generals. And one day I will release their name and their pictures. This will be the same with the man of rope. They have to hide for them to keep their jobs. And I made one promise. Before I leave this planet, I return the stones of Vatican back to Colosseum. Where the man was abused physically, at least he had a say in it, and he was part of it. He wasn't abused in a hidden way. Now you understand what is about to come and how games played. In a meeting with the hierarchy, families of a leadership, I was invited for dinner. I usually don't take my phones with me that day because it was a very deep discussion. There was a need for some information to be shown and to be seen. I carried my wallet of telephones. And we were asked to don't take anything up. We went upstairs. The leading family and close allies to the president were on the table. These are the people we know. We worked with for some years. When I came down, took my bag was hot. I said to the officials the next day, if you wanted information on my phones, you didn't need to download it. Because you downloaded it fast, it heated up. Americans use a freezing condition. They use different method. And they got insulted. That I told them you're stolen, you've gone through my phones with the data. And contact was cut because I accused of stealing. Interesting enough, Sometimes later, I went to the phone because I had so many pictures with this family, dinners and lunches and social meeting. I could not find any pictures of them on my phone. But these people didn't know that the phone gets regularly backed up, downloaded into other servers, other hard disks. I couldn't find it. I thought, where the heck are these? Am I dreaming? It's always been on the phone. I went to archives, reserves, and they're all there. During the time I was there, upstairs eating, they deleted anything to be connected to them. Again, Chinese. The world leaders who understand the power of this technology try to block it, but that time is gone. The religious leaders, not your families, will be the next step for you knowledge seekers who understood the process. You have to be resolute. You have to understand the knowledge and be kind, as I said last time, to those who find out they made a mistake. Don't make it the point of arrogance. Elevate their soul that they understand faster, that they can catch up with you, that you learn from them the new technology.